So, Sir? Mm. All right, my students, good evening to you. How are you doing this day?
Good evening, sir. Fine, and thank you.
Vice versa.
Nice, nice, nice. Um, um, all right, I'm hoping and trusting that you are well, ready to go. I'm going to do some continuation to the what it is that we did last night, but I must pause and say thank you, Courage. I saw you today giving your teacher some support. I really appreciated it. I don't think she's hearing me, but
Good evening, sir. Yeah.
okay. I'm just saying thank you.
Oh, okay, sir. No problem.
Yeah. How was your session? It went well?
Yes, sir. It's went well. I finished.
Nice. Congrats, congrats, congrats.
Thank
Re-
Jesus take
No, no, sir.
Say it
Rich.
again.
Courage is rich now.
Hey! Whoa! Courage can take me for Courage.
you.
Courage. What's your favorite food? Okay, let me ask you. And ouch,
Wait,
in no
so so wait,
in
so
no
wait, sir. One question. What the award ceremony thing? You get money prize or something like that?
no. Well, it depends. Courage, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Courage. And I really hope that I don't think you're that student though. I don't want you to take on offense to what it is that I'm asking. But okay, so in Jamaica, when we're saying that we're having a, an expensive meal, it could be like maybe lobster or lamb or what else, guys? Talk to me, help me out. Um, yeah, whatever it is. Back home, what would be an expensive meal back home? What will constitute an expensive meal back home?
uh, Well, all the food are popular, so
I love that courage. So all so okay. So all right, let me ask you the question this way. What's what's your favorite Jamaican meal?
rice and peas and chicken.
Talk truth. You're my girl.
Right.
That's the only thing I eat here.
The
You are
choice
my
of steel.
you're my girl. Rice and peas and chicken. Hey, when you're growing up, it's Sunday dinner had to be rice and peas and chicken, or is it not having Sunday dinner? Yeah, man. All right. So that was a nice little icebreaker. So we can run now into the meat of the matter. All right. So yesterday, um, we had a look at this, uh, what I would call multivariable function. It's a 2017 past paper, and we
That's how the
wanted
one
to.
what would they do yesterday, sir?
Yes, sir. And we wanted to see at what value, the minimum value of the labor and minimum value of material that we need to purchase. That came out to be 3 and 2. So 3 million we should spend on labor, and 2 million we spend on material. And then the question asked us something like, oh Lord, can I find it? The question asked us something like, show why this cost is a minimum. Show why this cost is a minimum. Hmm. Oh, sorry. I was
Mm-hmm.
right. Show why this cost is a minimum. And in order to show, we are showing why it's a minimum. This is what we're doing.
Mm.
We are using our formulation. And remember, our formulation is f of x times f of y minus f of xy all squared. If the value of d is positive, we need to go further and investigate f of xx. And if f of xx works out to be positive, then we have a relative minimum. If it works out to be negative, we have a relative maximum. If d is negative, right ahead, we just go ahead and say that it's a saddle point. And if d is equal to 0, we send the question back to the examiners to say we can't do these. All right, somebody needs to mute. All right. So that's where we were up to yesterday. So I showed them that this is a minimum. One of the things that I want to do with you now is to look at part one of the question. Part one of the question asked us, let me just go back to it. Part one of the question asked, part one says, find the total annual cost given in, oh, that should be in a given year. Every time I read a question. So find the total cost if in a given year the company spends $1 million on labor and $3 million on material. Hmm. Um, and this is what sometimes I do for companies. They are trying to increase the number of material cost and reduce the number of labor cost. And let me just be very frank and honest with you. As we speak and try to put into context a question such as this. Years ago, years ago, I I would have gone on my vacation as I normally do before COVID. And I went into a store and I saw a very nice shirt. And I thought to myself, there is no way that I'm going to be leaving this shirt. And I purchased the shirt. Now, I'm not one of those guys who will say, if it is not a Tommy Hilfiger or a Calvin Klein or an Express, I'm not buying it. I see the shirt and the shirt look good. If it is a no name brand something, I am getting it. I am buying it because I like the shirt. So I bought this shirt. Came to Jamaica and I decided to wear the shirt and I started to iron the shirt. And when I got to the place where the tag of the shirt is, and I looked at it, it says made in Jamaica. And I got really very upset. I was upset with myself. I was upset that I bought the shirt because a shirt of that caliber will never have been sold in Jamaica. Those are the days when we had free zones in Jamaica. What happened is these overseas company would come to these countries and say, here the plan. We're giving them the work. So just like how the BPO them come out here, so, and then work foreign accounts and then get them foreign money and then we pay them in Jamaica, dishonest. That's what used to happen with these companies. So wherever the shirts are made by these big name brand companies, it will be there. So sometimes you may go to Old Navy and buy some Old Navy shirts, tees, and it says made in Vietnam, made in Sri Lanka. Um, Very rare you say made in the United States because they can't afford the United States workers because they'll have to pay them at a higher rate. Now, when them going to Vietnam for argument's sake, them can pay them 25 cents for one shirt. So one may say that's why, sir, you can go to Old Navy and buy a shirt for $6 or $5 or $10 because the cost is really minimal. If those shirts were to be made in other countries, in other jurisdictions, chances are the manufacturing cost is going to go up, and the shirt now instead of costing $10 for a tee, it may cost $25 for a tee. All right, that's the point. So what these companies are doing is trying to minimize the labor and purchase more material. So when them say them spending $1 million on labor and $3 million on material, they might outsource this type of work. They might go one different country and say, here the plan. I'm paying in US dollars. And the man say, US dollars? Oh yeah, sure. I'm paying you 50 cents an hour to work. But 50 cents US is enough money for them. So them take the work. So this is what we're going to do. So I just put that into context. So this is what is going to happen. 2x squared plus 2xy. Help me out right here. 2 2x squared plus 2xy. 3y squared minus 16x. 3y squared minus 16x.
Minus 18y plus 54.
No, hold on. Sorry. Go again for me, please.
Plus 3y squared minus 16x minus 18y plus 54.
All right. Thanks, my dear. All right. So the question said $1 million on labor and $3 million on material, Rockstone. What is labor again? Oh, up here it say X is labor and Y is material. And $1 million on labor and $3 million on material. So X is 1 and Y is equal to 3. So C of 1 comma 3 is going to be 2 times 1 squared plus 2 times 1 times 3 plus
Sir,
3
you're right on
times...
screen there.
We're not seeing where you're writing, sir. We're still seeing the question.
Yeah, because I wasn't sharing. I have to see with the teacher tired. I had a
So you
class
know
just
that
now.
I did an exact question like this on editing software earlier today.
Right, girl.
Fabulous.
So repeat for me.
Fabulous. And I'm saying fabulous. Very nice. What is 1 squared?
1,
1,
And 1 times 2 is?
2,
3 times 1 is?
3.
Times 2 is?
6,
3 times 3 is?
Oh, you get 8.
9,
9,
9.
And 9 times 3 is?
27,
16 times negative 1 is negative 16. 18 times 3 is how much?
54.
Good job. Somebody know them timetable. This cancels that. And then now I'm going to have 2 plus 6 is 8. And 8 plus 27 is going to be equal to 2 7 14, 34, 35. So this is going to be 35 minus 16 equals 19. Talk truth.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So I'm getting 19 million for that answer. Let me go back to the question. And the question says, find the total annual cost in a given year. The company spends $1 million on labor and $3 million on material. For 3 marks, look at what they ask you to do. To just a simple substitution. $19 million. Done. Question finished. Any questions? $19 million. So they are saying if you spend $19 million, if we do 1 year on labor and 3 years on material, and 3 on material, 3 million on material, it means that I'm going to spend $19 million in total. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Any questions? The only thing that I'll guard you on, make sure you know which one is which. Don't call the x the y value and the y value the x value. Because you're not going to get 19, you're going to get a different value. So you have to be very careful. They say x represent labor and y to represent material. Make sure you write it down. X for labor, y for material. Or the x value is equals to 1 and the y value equals 3. And I get that. All right. So let me go back to the question paper now. We would have done question 1. We have done question 2, part 2 to the question. It says, what is the minimum cost? Oh, Lord. What is the minimum cost? What is the minimum cost? But, sir, oh, I think I see what you're asking me. What is the minimum cost? What is the minimum cost? I think I get it. What do you think we do in order to calculate the minimum cost here? Let me see if you're thinking.
Try use a relative minimum.
A little vague. Go through a little bit more for me.
So, sir, I'm partially correct, right?
Your piece of it kind of
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Mm. Talk to me.
Sir, I'm not sure how to pick up from here. I only have using the relative minimum and the 4.
What is the relative? What is the relative minimum?
So 4.
Okay. No, not 4.
There's not 4.
Mm-mm.
So it's
Look
20.
at the function. Look at the function. Anything that
Oh,
we're doing with the question is relating to the function. What have we calculated in part 2 that can be used for this function again?
sir, the critical points 3 and 2.
Duh.
GSM, no one.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Come again, Lotto. Read the question for me, please, again. C of xy
No,
is
no, sir. 2 is 2x squared plus 2xy. plus 3 minus 18x.
3 who?
No man, 3y
I'm not hearing.
squared
Okay, I hear you now.
minus 18y. 18y, 16x 18y. Sir, now hear me?
No, you're coming across choppy.
Maybe the internet. So minus 18y plus 54.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So recall the critical point is going to be 3,2, I think, or it's 2,3, right? 3,2. So C of 3,2, anywhere in the function I see x, I put 3. This is 2 times 3 squared plus 2 times 3 times 2 plus 3 times 2 squared minus 16 times 3 minus 18 times 2 plus 54. 3 3 is 9, 2 9s are 18, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, 2 2 is 4, plus 3 is 12. Times 3 is 12. 16 times 3 is going to be 48. 18 times 2 is 36, plus 54. 18 plus 12, that's 30. 42 minus 48 is a negative 6. Negative 6 minus 36 is a negative 42. Negative 42, 52, this is 12. So C of 3,2 is 12. And of course, all of this here, it says it's in millions. So I'm going to get 12 million. So my minimum cost, what is my minimum cost? My minimum cost in this case is going to be 12 million. Find the total annual cost in A was 19 million. In this year case, my minimum cost is going to be sure. My minimum cost is going to be $12 million. Question. Háblame, háblame, háblame.
There are no questions from me.
Hush, hush.
Sir, this is this entire thing that we have to do. What the chances of I get this pen paper?
Somebody answer for me, please.
So what was the question?
What is the chance of you getting this on the exam paper?
100%.
Thank you very much.
As it came on medical stuff, so like just assume. Say
You will get a question like this.
Sir?
You will get a question like this.
Thank you.
100% chance of getting it.
Sir, no, there is a question again.
If only I knew, Papa. If only I knew.
So when you get the minimum cost, so when you get the answer for the minimum cost, that's it. You don't have anything else with the 12 million.
That's it. Talk to me. Any other question?
No, sir.
All right.
I remember.
All right. Lotto, you're coming across very choppy. All I hear is to remember. All right, until she comes back. So that's the end of that question. 2000, 2017. Let us look at 2019.
Sir, you're not going to do the second part of the question.
We did already.
Sir,
That's already.
the Z part.
Yeah, man, we did that already.
Yes, we did that already.
Interesting. Okay.
Hey, boy, trouble. For 30 marks, this is what Lotta was saying, I think, yesterday. There's no part B. Oh, I remember us doing this question.
Yeah, this is the first one that we did.
Yeah.
On trapezoid rules.
We did that one with the we did the one with the graph. We did
Right.
that
And
one.
remember this to you that now I have volume of rotation to do.
Yes.
So that
yes,
would be
it
part
does.
A. Good. So we could have done question one. Part A is going to be the next topic. We do part B already. So I'm going to see the other rest of the paper. Newton-Raphson, you're supposed to be able to do all of Newton-Raphson right here. So, because I've done all of that with you already. This is Newton-Raphson. The whole of part A is Newton-Raphson. Part B, we did this question already too. For part B, I remember a lot of saying that. We call this now. McLaren's would have done that. This is the only part B is the only thing that we can't do yet. So 4B, I don't do that with you yet. 4B and 2A are the only parts of this paper, or that we have not done. Can you agree or do you disagree?
Sir, I agree.
I agree, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Go right ahead.
Sir,
Go right ahead.
sir, the practice means semester you're going to go through the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I may even just send out the solutions, but yeah. All right. The answer to you is yes. Either do that or just go through the solution to the stuff. All right, let's go. We need to finish off this one. A small startup company produces speakers and subwoofers for computers that they sell through a website. After extensive research, the company has developed a profit function, pi of x. Remember yesterday we did C of xy, and I was saying to you that and I understood, because Sir did the first couple of questions with you with f of xy, you started calling everything f of xy, and then we worked something with C of xy. Now we're seeing pi of xy. So when we're doing this stuff, we're not going to call it f of xy or C of xy. We're going to respect it and call it pi, right? So each of them will have a different name. Just stick to the name. And then it gave us all of that ugly looking stuff in $1,000. This time it's not millions. Find the production level that minimize profit. Hey, it says minimize. So in my headspace, D is positive, and f of xx is also positive. In order for me to have a minimum, both must be positive. So in my headspace, I already have an idea as to what it is that I'm going to be looking at. All right. I need somebody to memorize this question. X squared y minus 22xy.
I have it.
All right,
I can
great.
go over.
All right, great.
Me to write it.
I'm gonna use a new slide for this one. And what year is this paper again? This is
2019.
2019. Let me just fix that up here. So, August, May, June,
But it's
July.
still showing us the question. Still showing us the question.
August, May, June, July.
All right, let me go back and check. It look like 2009. It like May 2009.
9 or 19?
Yeah, May 9. 19. Oh, Shami
Okay.
gone back in that time.
All right, 19. All right, thank you. All right, so pi of xy equals what now?
X squared Y
Mm-hmm.
minus 22 XY
Mm-hmm.
minus, sir, not plus, minus 22 XY minus 22 XY
Mm-hmm.
plus XY squared
Mm-hmm.
plus 71.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Now, what's the first thing that we need to do?
And pi X of XY, and then find pi Y.
Okay, so I'm gonna find pi x,
All this stuff then.
all the six stuff. Just remember six of them. So I'm differentiating pi with
Yes.
respect to x. So what I'm
All
gonna do
the
when
six.
all the six stuff, yeah man, very good. So when I differentiate it, I'm gonna get
2x.
2xy, agree?
Yes, sir.
Minus 22y
Yes, sir.
plus y squared.
Plus Y squared. That's a constant. So that done.
Right. So pi xx of xy is
Is
2y
2y.
done.
That gone, that gone.
Right. Pi y of xy now.
Sir, 71 at the end.
71 at the end, yes, son.
Mhm.
So pi y of xy is going to be x squared
X squared.
minus 22x
Mhm.
plus 2xy. I want to hear if you agree with me.
Y one constant. I one. The Y with a one that. The two same thing.
I'm waiting on you. Not rushing you, but just
Yes,
waiting.
sir.
Mm.
Sir, that's what I got wrong answer.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else agrees with me?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Where's my
That
class? Where's my
Yes,
class?
sir. Yes.
yes, sir. That's right.
It's your man. Who want my class come back? All right. And then pi of yy, x
2x.
y, 2x. Very good.
Okay,
Pi
then they're
yy,
gone.
2x. Yeah, man. And then pi now of xy.
2.
Think about that.
Sir,
Pi xy of xy.
You differentiate x in terms of y.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Y, and I'm like,
I'm differentiating this with respect to x. I'm going to get 2x
2x minus
minus
22 plus 2y. And since the terms are, and since the mixed terms are reciprocal, they split out the same answer.
These are the same, don't?
Yes.
So I know that what it is that I have done before up top is correct. Let me pause and ask you, are you in agreement? Why, sir, me dey expect one whole number like you did get yesterday. It's not always
Yes, sir.
black or white. Sometimes you
Sir,
have, yeah.
for all this time, sir, when you're doing
Boy, lot of you're in and you're out suddenly.
and you factorize?
All right. Ask the question again because you drop out. Anybody's hearing her fully or is just me alone?
Do what?
All right. I didn't hear half of what it is that you asked. So I was asking the class if it's just me alone or
No,
is
sir,
it,
see, unstable come up on my stuff. So it's my side.
oh, okay.
It pop.
Okay.
It's the original function
Say it again
in
for original function.
for pi xy of xy. I'm asking you, sir, for the last answer that you have at the bottom, if it's the original function you factorize, and if in that case, if it's every time you do that.
No, it's not the original function I factorize.
You factorize a while ago, sir.
If pi of x in order to get xy.
Oh, x.
Yes, no. Talk to me.
Oh, sir, I realize. I see what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else okay? Talk to me now, guys.
Yes, sir, I'm okay.
Come on, Reggie, Rejon, Crosswell, Frano, Honesty.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
One
yes.
get about the same X, Y, Y, X. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'm there, I'm just out. No, just not fair.
All right. I am. I'm a teacher for too long not to be able to read into behavior. That's why they taught me psychology for education. Something is unsettling, and I am going through this motion alone, and I need you to participate in the exercise with me. Some of you are not understanding, you just see me writing, and you're saying to yourself, all right, when I upload the recordings, I go treat on my own dangerous because the same difficulties you're having understanding now will be the same difficulties when you're going through on your own. Real talk. Real talk. So, I am not writing anything else. until I can hear from the non-speakers that you are understanding.
The non-speaker share, they don't understand him. Me get it, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me
Very
understand it.
nice. Very nice. Okay. Um, well, I would have had you for one whole semester already for the most part, most of you. And we have 2 weeks left for this semester. So if you don't understand a teacher by now, I don't think you'll ever understand me. I want you to talk to me in a class, because it is when you speak that I will know what it is that you're understanding. Like when you go to a doctor and you go to, I said, doctor, I'm not feeling well. Doctor say, okay, what is the problem? Doctor, me just not feeling well. All right, help me to diagnose you. Doctor, we'll take a temperature. Okay, patient has a temperature. Something is awry.
So you know, sir, me don't ask one question though, sir.
Go ahead then, Papa.
No, I think in terms of the course, 60-40 or 40.
40 for coursework, 60 for exam.
Ah, jeez, that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm educate self give how much percent?
20.
Sir?
20.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir, just
So,
And at 20, you're supposed to do everything by educate self, right?
yes, I.
All right. Lato? Hey, yeah, I got myself at 20% because.
So, when you tell the doctor that your head hurt you, your hand hurt you, your foot hurt you, then it narrows down that the doctor say, okay, fine. So this is the situation. What else? And the doctor is making the notes. And it is based on everything that he says to the doctor is able to say, okay, my suspicion is XYZ. It's the same thing for me. Hold on a minute, please. All right. So it's the same thing for me, guys. I need to hear the difficulties you're having in order for me to say, no, your concept here is incorrect or your concept here is correct. But if you don't say it to me, I'm not going to know, and I'm going to misdiagnose you. I'm going to prescribe Panadol for you when you're going to need Fenzik. So I'm going to say, yeah, man, you understand it, and then you're going to exam and fail it. So that's why I say speak. But anyhow, I have 2 weeks left. Not going to belabor the point. I'm going to move on. The aim of the multivariable function here is to determine the critical points. Is to determine the critical points. So in order to determine the critical points, what must I do?
you, you set it to 0.
Set what to zero?
Simultaneous.
Set the function to
Set
0.
Stop
y to 0.
simultaneously.
What do I set to 0?
And pi of x.
Very good. So the first derivative is what I'm going to be setting to 0 and solving simultaneously. Very good. So I'm going to put I'm going to put um, 2.
Internet. Your internet connection is unstable.
No, that is fair.
I not good. Come not going to that time.
Right? So I'm setting those two things equal to 0.
You there whole day watch TV and night.
Um, So I set those two equals to 0. Now I'm going to be required to solve. Is when the question ugly like the way this one is ugly, expect to do quite a bit. It's 30 marks. Wow, what do I use? I'm going to make, right, I'm going to make x the subject from equation 1. So using equation 1, oh, I never named it, you know. Using equation 1, I'm going to let 2xy equal 22y minus y squared. Take a minute and look at that one, tell me if you agree.
Can you go again, please?
I'm solving simultaneously, but this one now is a little different from last night. Last night when I did this stuff, I got a simultaneous equation with only x and y. This one is x and y together. So I can't solve this equation by elimination like I did last night. This one has to be solved by substitution. So what I did, my equation 1 is 2xy minus 2x minus 22y, sorry,
Minus y squared.
plus y squared right here. And what I'm doing here, I'm transposing to make 2xy the subject.
Subject.
So I'm gonna have 2xy, and I'm gonna add 22y to this side to get rid of this. So that's why this becomes 22y, and I'm gonna subtract y squared from here, and that's why this becomes minus y squared. All right. So this is what I have now as my equation 3. Tell me if you agree with that, please.
Sir, can you go one more time?
I have 2xy minus 22y. I keep calling this, so let me just change this properly. So 2xy minus 22y plus y squared. 2xy minus 22y plus y squared equals 0. I have decided in myself that I'm going to make 2xy the subject of the formula. So I want 2xy to be on one side of the equation and everything else to be on the other side. 2xy to be on one side and everything else I want to be on the other side. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be adding 22y to both sides. When I add 22y to both sides, I'm going to get rid of this. And it comes as positive 22 on this side. To get rid of it here, I'm going to subtract y squared. And see the y squared appear here. The negative y squared appeared here. Do you see it now?
Yes.
What about the rest of you? Wanna make me feel like I want to sleep now?
So I realize, so all you do, you carry the 22y and the y square over the other side, the equal side.
And change the sign.
I would prefer if you don't say it like that, but I understand
Sir,
what you're
that's the
saying.
way I understand it.
That's how we know it too.
And you know, deliberately, I did not say that because that's an incorrect way of teaching it. But if that's how you understand it, that's fine.
Sir,
I
because
won't
you didn't
repeat.
confuse me with the adding and the subject.
I won't repeat what you say. I understand what you're saying. If you understand it that way, that's fine. But the correct way of saying is that we're using the inverse, the additive inverses in order to get this slope. There is no way you can carry none over non equal sign. But guess what? That's how I was taught. That's how I used to teach it until I get further education and them said, no, go so. They say, true, because you can't carry none over non equal sign. After no country no come from. So leave it alone. But if you say so and you understand it so, okay, let us move on. All right, now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out y from here. So I'm going to have y 22 minus y, and that is equal to 2xy is equal to all of that. And then I am going to divide both sides. You know what? I'm going to divide
Sir,
both sides. Yes, sir.
sir. Oh, yeah, knows
Hmm.
that.
Because you're solving.
Judge.
So
So
you're
you see,
dividing.
That is actually interesting way to do it.
we never do say this, we do a different thing in my brain.
So, um, so what I'm doing now, you recognize the y's cancel, the 2 cancel also. The y cancel here, the y cancel here. So what I'm left with is x equal 22 minus y over 2.
Over 2.
All right, sir. Hold on there. Oh, your last be complete. What, sir? Where you get that 2y there?
Remember, I had 2xy here.
Yeah.
I want y to be the subject. I mean, x to be the subject now.
Oh, okay. I think that's one specific way you do it. But you just try to take out, make x. All right, sir.
Remember, we're using the substitution method. So the substitution method says we have to substitute one into the other. So I had to make either x the subject of the formula or y the subject of the formula so that I can use one of those variables now to substitute it into the other equation. So when I substitute it in equation 2, I can't use 1 since 1 is what I transcribe in order to get x to be 22 minus y over 2. When I substitute that 22 minus y over 2 into equation 2, all of what I have there in equation 2 is going to be x. So I'm going to have an equation now in x, and I just work out x. And when we get x now, sorry, I'm going to get an equation in y because I'm substituting the value of x to become 22 minus y over 2. So I'm going to have an equation fully in y, and I'm going to solve for the value of y. When I get the value of y now, I substitute it back into this function here to get the value of x, value or values of x. I want to stay close to what is happening here, and I don't want anybody to divorce what it is that we're doing. The moment you miss this, and let me say it again, I learned today just a wayside conversation with a colleague that says CCCJ normally does one method of generating their exam paper, and a colleague shared with me a new strategy that they're going to be using. So I'm saying to you, whereas Mr. Shand would make a submission to CCCJ to a possible examination paper.
They don't want it, they don't want you to get a sneak like a sneak peek.
And they will send the paper as a result of that crosswell. They will send the paper to an external, and if the external don't like the question, I do the external say, sure, we now do that. This paper is 2019. I don't think the students will have copies of this 2019 paper. Let us put back this function. So what I'm saying to you, You may very well go into the exam
And I get
and
it. The
you may
question
very
was
well
still.
see this very question. I'm saying to you, pay attention. You guys are putting me to bed tonight. Last night I was fully awake. And I'm very serious. I'm literally feeling like I'll just drop asleep right about now because I'm not getting the energy, and this is how I keep alive. I have to get the energy from the class in order to stay awake. Again, come across daddy, and then again say, boy, sir, no, I don't understand that thing because there's no energy. Remember, I had that class before. So you have to participate so I can feel the vibe, feel the energy, move on. I'm saying to you, I would have made a submission of an exam paper to CCCJ. The other community colleges have done the same. If the external exam don't like the question that I put on and the other colleges put on, they may say, let us go back to one of the past paper questions here. This question may very well come on the paper. Now, just think about it. Sir, do this very question in a class, and you now pay attention because this don't mean nothing to you. And you go into the exam and you book up the very question here for 30 marks. I know what I would do to myself. I couldn't forgive myself. So I'm saying, just pay attention, please. Thank you. All right. So remember now, Bijan, what it is that I can do. You're saying that you don't know what would have been your next step. But remember, when you would differentiate, when you completed the differentiation of the six things, the first order partial derivative, second order partial derivative, and the second order cross partial derivatives, six things. Remember, when you get the question, you're going to seek something. So right there and then you get about 5 marks out of the stop because I'm not going to get a double mark for x, y, and y. So you get 5 marks. So you just have 25 more marks to get.
Yes, sir. I catch the pattern.
Yeah, man. But what the point I'm
Substitution
making,
part no.
the point I'm making is you are going to now you're going to now be solving simultaneously. When you look at the two equations, pi of x and pi of y, you recognize it's not like the one that we get. It's a quadratic. The two equations that we got yesterday was linear. So the rule says when you're solving linear equations, you can use the elimination method, or you can use the substitution method, or you can use the graphical method, or you can use the matrix method. But when you're solving uh, a pair of simultaneous equations and one or both is quadratic, you have to use the substitution method. Now, both equations are quadratic. Sir, how you know that? Come in and see it. Them have a square in there. One is y squared and one is x squared. So it's non-linear. That's all that you need to know. It's non-linear. Um, if I never have the square terms and just had the xy, we'd call it a non-linear equation. So to the
That sounds
non-linear.
beautiful.
Huh?
That sounds beautiful.
Right. So it is non-linear. So because it is non-linear, you must solve simultaneously. In order to solve simultaneously, I must make either x the subject of the formula or y the subject of the formula and substitute it into the other equation. So, Bijan, what I'm saying to you, Papa, is the next step is for me to make either y. You see, I made 2xy the subject there because I want to know this side. What I could have done, I could have divided both sides by 2x. But it wouldn't make no sense for me to divide by 2x. You know why? Because there's no x
Because
on the
so
right
there's
side.
no X on the next
Thank
side.
you very much. Thank you very much. So, Bijan, I say this to say to you that the only something I could really divide by is the y, the 2y. Because right there and then, mother, I want x on the left hand side and the right hand side, and I don't want that. I want an equation in only y or an equation in only x. So, having gotten my x to be 22 minus y over 2, now it is that I'm going to be doing my substitution into the equation. Not the equation, into the second equation. X squared minus 22 plus 2xy. X squared minus 22 plus 2xy. X squared minus 22. X squared minus 22. Lord Jesus, 22 what? Sure.
2X, sir.
Yeah, 22x plus
Plus
2xy.
2XY.
All right, 22 minus 7 plus 2xy. Yeah. And that's 22, and 22 minus y over 2. So now, and I'm going to call this is equation 2, and I'm calling this 3. Did I call it 3 around here? Yes, I did. So I'm going to put 3 into 2. So anywhere into 2, I see x, I'm going to put all of 3. I want you to pay attention because this is fractional. You have to respect it. And I'm going to show you a shortcut shortly. So this now becomes 22 minus y over 2 all square minus 22 times 22 minus y over 2 plus 2 times 22 minus y over 2 times y equals 0. Tell me if you agree with what I have there.
You see? Hmm. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Substitution, right?
Very good. And that's exactly what I'm doing for now. So all I'm doing is just making a substitution. Where's
Where's
son
on?
son?
Son?
Yeah, you're not there today.
Who's son?
All right, 30. All right, so a few students are absent tonight.
Put into X-ray that too.
Tajay not here. All right, Rajay is here. Good. Good to see you, sir. All right. So all I'm doing here, as Frano says, is to make the substitution anywhere into equation 2. I see x. I'm going to substitute 22 minus y over 2. So I have an x squared, so that becomes 22 minus y over 2 all square minus 22 times 22 minus y over 2 plus 2. There goes an x. So it's 2 times 22 minus y over 2. And I'm going to put back the y equals 0. So I would have made my substitution right there. All agreed? Can I move?
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, 22 minus y over 2 times 22 minus y over 2 minus 22 into 22 minus y over 2. I'm spelling it out. I'm not taking any shortcut so that people will come and say, sir, your shortcut is something. Watch me now. This 2 cancels this 11 times. This cancels this. Them 2 you can't cancel. Everybody see what I did a while ago?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Watch me
Yes,
now.
sir.
This is side work. Twenty-two minus y over 2 times 22 minus y over 2. 22 times 22 is enough. Come, work with me. Oh, I'm a calculator here.
22 times 22,
Yes, sir.
484.
And you're correct. 22 times 22 is going to be 484. 22
Over
times negative y. No, we didn't do that yet. I multiply my numerators first. Matter of fact, let me just do the denominator and show you. 2 times 2 is 4. So I multiply my numerators, put it up. Multiply my denominators, put it up. So 2 times 2 is just going to be 4. So my denominator there is 4. So all I'm going to be doing now is just multiplying the numerator. 22 times 22 is 484. 22 times negative y is negative 22y. And then this negative y times 22 is going to be another negative 22y. and negative y times negative y is a positive y squared. So that's what it works out to be. 22, this 22 times this 22 is 484. I'm using this same 22 times the negative y to give me negative 22y. This negative y times this 22 is going to give me negative 22y here. And this negative y times that negative y gives me a positive y squared. And this 2 times 2 is this 4 here. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Hablame. All right.
Sir, me
So
not
I'm
say
not,
no okay. Is this? Yeah, me
watch
not
what
say
I'm doing
no
here.
okay.
Watch it. Watch it. I have 22 minus y all squared. We need to deal with that one here first. We need to deal with this. So in order to deal with this, I'm going to say 22 minus y over 2 times 22 minus y over 2. That's what this square means. That I'm multiplying this by itself 2 times. See here? 1, 2. How am I multiply them something here? It's going to be the numerator multiplied by together, the denominator multiplied together. What is 2 times 2?
Repeat that, sir.
4.
4.
4. See the 4 right here, so? Then we're going to multiply 22 minus y times 22 minus y. See here? 22 times 22. Is this 22, multiplying everything inside here, so? And then this negative y multiplying everything in the same bracket. So it's 22 times 22 is 484. 22 times a negative y is a negative 22y. My negative y times 22 is a negative 22y. And negative y times a negative y gives me a positive y squared. So what I can do now is to fix it up and call this my 484 minus 44y plus y squared over 4. So why get that? Why never multiply this 22 by 22? I can't. Because this is a negative 22 minus a negative 22. When I'm adding and the signs are the same, I put back the sign. See here, negative, negative, put back the sign and add the numbers. 22 plus 22 is 44y. And the y square stands alone because there's no other y square here. The 484 stands alone because there's no more 484 or there's no more whole number. I'm adding 22y to 22y because these are the only two terms that contain y. So I end up with a 44y. So now, are you seeing a clearer now, Brijan?
I'm going to again, sir.
So 484 minus 44y plus y squared over 4 minus 11 times 22 minus y plus y times 22 minus y equals 0. That's what it works out to be. So this 11 is this. Remember the 2 cancels into the 22 to give me 11. So this is that. So I remove the fraction from here. So that's we have 22 minus y right here. This 2 cancels in, this cancels in that 2. So I'm just going to have 22 minus y. This is here. And this y, I put it in front here. All right? Now, what I can do is to rationalize this function. I can rationalize this function. So I'm multiplying throughout by 4 to eliminate the fraction from the first term. So I'm going to multiply throughout the whole equation by 4. So look at what I'm doing here. I'm multiplying through this equation by 4. So I'm going to have 484 minus 44y plus y squared over 4, and that is being multiplied by 4 minus 4 times 11, 22 minus, remember I'm multiplying through by 4 plus 4 y times 22 minus y is equals to 0 times 4. So what I'm doing, I am multiplying everything by 4. Why, sir? Because I want to do a cancellation. Watch me. This 4 now cancels that 4. So I get rid of my fraction. I had to do all of that to get rid of my fraction. Well, I don't like working in fractions because I don't want to make any mistakes. So at the earliest possible point I get, I'm going to eliminate my fraction. So I'm multiplying through the equation. Sir, why 4? You couldn't multiply by 5. Anything, remember I said it's 4 right here, say no. So if this had been a 5, then I will multiply everything by 5. If this was 100, then I multiply through by 100. But because this here is a 4, this determines what I multiply through the equation by. So I'm multiplying by 4 to eliminate. So what I will now have is just 484 minus 44y plus y squared, denominator is gone. 4 times 11 is 44. So I'm going to have minus 44 times 22 is how much? Talk to me.
968.
Is 968? Hey. So I'm going to end up
Yes,
with
sir.
minus 968. And when I multiply negative 44 by negative y, I'm going to get positive 44y. Talk truth. Negative 4
Yes,
times
sir.
11 is right. Is negative 44. Negative 44 times a negative y is positive 44y. Plus 4y times 22 is going to be 4 2 is 8, 198. 88.
88, sir.
Right. I'm going to have plus 88y minus 4y squared. Talk to me. And 4 times 0 is 0. So now I have an equation without fractions. And then I recognize this 44 cancels that 44. And then I'm going to have 484 minus 968. How much is that? That looks like a negative 484 times bam, plus 88y minus 4y squared equals 0. There's only, oh, no. This y squared is going to give me negative 3y squared. This positive y squared plus a 4y squared give me a negative 3y squared. And this 88y stands alone, so it comes back here. So we're going to have negative 484 plus 88y minus minus 3y squared. Jesus, help me. Why am I so silent? Let me stop. I'm putting a pen down. Look at what I have so far.
Sir,
I tell you, see.
so I'm
Yeah.
trying to work how you get the negative, and I realize no.
And negative you have a whole lot of.
So you're gone fast.
All right, no
I know
problem.
do
And
it
that's
in
why
a
I'm stopping.
step, sir. Me have to do it in a steps.
And
But they should
no, I
just
do it
group
in
like
steps, you know. I do it in steps, you know. That's why I'm stopping. So I'm giving you an opportunity now to catch me up. So I'm stopping. I'm gonna eat a cracker, and then on the time when you're gonna catch me up.
yes, sir. Man, see what you do, you just group like terms and do the maths.
Mm.
Yeah, baby. Me not see the maths.
Let me know when I can go. Ask me the question what you're not seeing, Jean.
Hold on, sir. If you have a group like okay. Oh, okay.
Always stay.
Yeah, me be honest, me not think me remember this.
That's fine. Come on, Hoisty. Rajay Hoisty.
Sir, why go bother me with that something I
Same
say?
thing Bijan said, sir. The team I remember this at all. I barely get it way too well ago.
Okay.
Sir, me reach the part where you do the substitution part, right? Right. So me understand.
Right up here, sir.
Hold on, sir, no. I understand, so you put the x into equation 2. I reach this, so all right.
Mm-hmm.
So you see from here, so now, but I feel like me gonna start cancel people out of that, sir. That's my problem, sir. Oh, me gonna know, say, why me not that part here bother me?
Alright.
Because you see, me see that that's something right there, so, sir. Me not gonna know. You right there, so?
All right. So let me go from here, so then. Let me go from here,
No,
so I
sir,
can.
me understand it, you know, but here what I think,
Uh-huh.
me, I go in an exam member say that
Okay. Got you.
separate. Me no,
Got you. So you're saying that you're understanding what it is that I have done, but on your own, you're not going to know what to
yeah,
do.
man. Me just, me know me that just cancel everything over there. So.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, for me, the calculus, me never confuse. So you tell me not if you can find the word.
That's the truth, you know. Man. So this slowly I beat me bad, sir, but me I try get it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what I'm happy about is that I did ask for past papers because I wouldn't pick up a question
You
of.
see all the part there, no, sir, when you say you put it the side where. Yeah.
All right, let me go from here to help somebody else.
Crazy man.
This is 22 minus y over 2 all square. You have to respect the square. You must respect the square. This square is telling me that I must multiply 22 minus y over 2 by itself. See it here, so? My multiplication has to be on spot. This 2 times this 2 is this 4. 22 times 22 is 484. 22 times a negative y is negative 22y. Now that I've completed multiplying this 22 by everything in this parentheses, I must now move to the negative y and do the same. Negative y times 22 is negative 22y. And negative y times a negative y gives me a positive y squared. This is my only constant term in this expression here, so I write it back. My negative 22y is related to this negative 22y. They are first cousins, so I'm going to add the two of them together. They have the same last name, two brother picnic. Negative 22y minus 22y is equals to negative 44y. The y square stands alone, so I write it back. And of course, this 2 times this 2 is the same 4 here, which I carry back right here. So this is now my expanded term for my 22 minus y all square over 2 all square. I'm making a substitution here for this. Then this 2 cancels into 22 11 times. And this 2 cancels into this 2. So I'm going to write minus 11. I didn't skip a line because I want you to see my workout. So this is minus 11. See it right here, so 22 minus y that is left. See it right here, so this 2 cancels this 2. So all that is left is a plus sign. See it right here, so and then 22 minus y times y. All I did was to put the y in front of here, so for ease of multiplication. So I put this y at the back in the front. And this is 22 minus y, 22 minus y equals 0. You think that you're confused now? Had I not multiplied through the equation by -4, you'd have some confusion because you'd have to go find LCM for them whole heap of something here. So the easiest thing to do is just to multiply through the equation. I'm allowed to multiply through by a scalar quantity because it is an equation. It is an equation, so I'm allowed to multiply. Had it been an expression, I would have had to find the LCM. Life would have been rough. So when I multiply through, and why I selected the number 4? Because this here in the denominator is a 4. Had it been a 2, I would have multiplied through the equation by 2. This tells me what it is that I need to do. So I'm multiplying through it by 4 to eliminate the fraction in the first term. So this is the first term, and I want to eliminate this fraction. All right? So what I've done is to put it in a different color, that I'm multiplying each term by 4. This term is being multiplied by 4, so is this term, so is this term. See, I have the 4 here, 1, 2, 3 times, plus the 0 times 4 is right out here, so you know. But of course, you know 0 times 4 is 0. These 4's cancel, leaving me with only 484 minus 44y plus that. See it right here, so? Boom. Leave it right here, so. Then what I'm going to be doing now is to say -4 times 11 is -44. -44 times 22 is -968. And -44 times a negative y is a positive 44y. This term is finished now. I move on to this one. 4y times 22 is going to give me positive 4y, that is, times 22 is going to give me 88y. And 4y times a negative y is going to give me -4y squared. I have a nice looking equation. Well, not so nice, but nicer than up here, so. And I recognize this is -44y, and that's a positive 44y, so they cancel each other. I also recognize that this 968, -968, can be added to this 484 because they are first cousins. They don't have no variables to it, first cousins. And when I add these two numbers together, I'm going to get a -484. See it right here, so? But I now have this y squared, positive y squared, that can be added to this -4y squared to give me a -3y squared. And this 88y is a standalone. I have nothing to add to it, so I write it back right here. So now this is where I reach. -484 plus 88y minus 3y squared equals 0. Habla me, talk to me. I don't expect you, incidentally, to understand this in one go.
Sir, I
What I want,
understand.
very nice. What I want you to do, very nice, Joe. What I want you to do, nonetheless, Bijan, and this is what I think, Bijan, you are doing. You are seeing what it is that I'm doing, which is what I really want. Your concern now is, sir, on my own, I could not have done this. And that's fine. It's fine for now. But when you go through this calculation again, I just understand the procedure. Remember, when I got to a point, I'm going to go back and show you. When I got to, when I completed these 6 calculations up here, and I asked, what is the next step? You know what everybody say? Sir, solve simultaneously. I'm saying, what am I going to solve simultaneously? Because you know that the next step after these 6 stuff is to solve simultaneously. But what you need to first do is to look at your equations that I'm going to be using. What I want you to say is that I'm going to set these two The first order partial derivatives, set them equals to 0, because when you're calculating stationary point, these two must be set equals to 0. That's what I want you to do. See them right here, set them equals to 0. When them set equals to 0, now we solve simultaneously. But we recognize that these two are non-linear. So how you know it's non-linear? Because I want to have x and y mix up in it. And I want to have x and y mix up. I don't even forget to the y square and the x square. The mere fact say you have x times y and x times y is non-linear. How do you solve a non-linear equation? Substitution. So you solve by substitution. All right? And then now, you have to make either x the subject of the formula or y the subject of the formula. You have to make either x or y the subject of the formula. Why, sir? Then why you go substitute in the other one for find out? You have to substitute. We do the substitution method. So I have to go substitute something for something. I have to go substitute something for something. So I decided in my headspace. I hear the plan. When I use equation one, have only one x in it. Look and tell me if I'm correct. This is the only x in equation one. If I was using equation two, which one I would have to make the subject of the formula?
Why?
Why? Because it's only one y in something. So if I use equation one, I must make x the subject of the formula. Bijan, if I use equation one, I can't make y because y they are so, y they are so, y they are so. This is the only unknown. So I'd have to make x the subject of the formula. Similarly, if I'd use this equation, I couldn't make x a subject. I would have had to make y the subject of the formula. So by default, when I did this, I have to make x. It's a given that I have to make x the subject of the formula. There are no two questions about it.
All right, sir. You know, me just realize that.
No, man. And this is why, Bijan, I like the core of you in class that speak, because it is because of the questions that you're asking. I'm looking at different ways of doing the explanation. All right. So yeah, man. So that is it.
Sir, you see that
So when you
part?
see that now, which one?
If it was
That
right
part
where,
here, so?
no man, right where you have the simultaneous, because we reach a part where we say right there, we know if we take out pi x and pi x pi y, we know if we take out them two there. You see me, it's because me see one, because me in the back, me don't know for the long time since me I got times the top equation by one number to see if it can equal.
No, you
Then
only do that when you have a linear equation, son.
yeah, that me yeah tell me no.
See it so? When you have them, this is a linear equation. We have only x beside one number and y beside one number and x and you know have no xy right here so and no y x so. So these are linear equations.
Things can work.
Yeah, man. Because they are linear now, we can multiply one equation by one number, so we can eliminate. Linear equations, I use the elimination method. I can use the substitution method if I want right here, say no.
No, sir, no confuse my brain, sir. So
no, hold on. No,
X and
hold
Y.
on. Hold on. Because I try to make you understand.
You understand?
So what I'm saying to you, in this particular question, I can use either the elimination method or the substitution method. I chose the elimination method because it's easier. In this here case, I don't have that leverage. I can only use the substitution method.
Yeah. You see,
why, sir? Because it's non-linear.
See,
all right, it's non-linear. Okay, because I don't want anybody to leave to say that, oh, it's linear, so you have to use elimination. No, if I'm teaching you, I have to teach you fully so that you can fully understand. All right?
Okay.
Okay, good. So now that I have my x to be equal to 22 minus y over 2. Then I'm going to go ahead. I wrote this as a recall, and I wrote this as a recall. Anywhere into my original function, lie. Anywhere into the second equation from my simultaneous, because I'm doing my simultaneous solution. In the other equation, I'm going to substitute my x value, 22 minus y over 2. Yes, I agree that your algebra has to be on top of things in order for you to get this one out. I agree. I'm not going to dandy shandy it. It is the truth. So anywhere in equation 2 I see x, I'm going to substitute 22 minus y all over 2. See it right here. So 22 minus y all over 2 all square minus 22. So 1 x here, so it's going to be 22 minus y plus 2x. Oh, but see that x here again, sir. So it's going to be 2 times 22 minus y over 2 times this y. See the y right here. So this square is giving me problems. I have to undo it. In order for me to undo it, it says 22 minus y over 2 all square. It means that I have to multiply 22 minus y times over 2 times 22 minus y over 2. I have to multiply by itself twice. Then, sir, you couldn't just do the rest of the question and no. Bomb says brackets first. So anytime I get anything in brackets and parentheses, I have to work those first. So here goes my multiplication again. Side work. 22 times 22 is 484. 22 times negative y is negative 22y. Negative y times 22 is negative 22y. Negative y times negative y is a positive y square. And 2 times 2 is 4. This one is a standalone, negative positive 484. I write it back. These two are first cousins. Or do you know that, sir? They end with the same last name. They have the same last name. Oh, but these have the same. The one here a daddy because of y square. The one here a y. Two different terms. One is y square. One is just simply y. So these two are first cousins. So I'm going to group them together. They have the same last name, blood type are the same. Negative 22y minus 22y is a negative 44y. And because this is daddy and it stands alone, I write it back. So I'm now going to have 484 minus 44y plus y squared over 4. So I'm going to make this substitution for this up here. See it right here? So this is the same thing that I have over in green. What I have here is the same answer over here that I have in green. I'm only making a substitution here. Then I would cancel into my 2 into 22 to give me into negative 22 to give me negative 11. And of course, that is going to be multiplied by 22 minus y right here. So this 2 cancels this 2, but there's a y outside here. Can't forget this y, no. Can't forget this y. So I'm taking the y in front. See it right here? So 22 minus y. I'm going to put it back here. And the 0 is right back here. Then I thought to myself, how am I going to work with this 4 here? But if I multiply by the reciprocal, I will get rid of it. So if I multiply, since the 4 is in the denominator, if I multiply by 4, I'll get rid of it. Then, sir, you could multiply it by 3. No, because if I multiply it by 3, it's not going to cancel out. So that's why I multiply by 4. So each term, and there are 3 terms. All of this is one term. This is another term. And this is another term. So all 3 terms will be multiplied by 4. So it's going to be 4, which is this 4 outside here, that's why I color code it, times all of this, then 4 times all of this right up here, then plus 4 times all of this right here, so is equal to 0 times 4. But we know 0 times 4 is 0 already. Big man thing. We expected this to cancel out. That's why I did it, because I know it can cancel out. So I'm going to have 484 minus 44y plus y squared. See it right here, so? Boom. This minus sign is this minus sign. 4 times 11 is 44 times 22 is going to be 968 negative. And this negative 44 times that negative y is going to be equals to negative. When I multiply two negative numbers, I get a positive number. It becomes positive 88y. See it right here, so? And it's negative 44 across. I circled the wrong thing. I said the right thing, but I circled the wrong thing a while ago. Negative 44 times a negative y is a positive 44y. Then I'm going to jump to this term. 4y times 22. Positive 4y times 22 is going to be a positive 88y. See it right here? And then 4y times a negative y is going to be negative 4y squared. See it right here, so. And of course, 0 times 4 is 0. My 44, negative 44y cancels with this positive 44y. But my positive 484 can be added to this negative 968 to give me a negative 484. My 88y is going to be a standalone now. So I write it back. And then this y squared is going to be added to this negative 4y squared to give me a negative 3y squared. And then what I'm going to do now, I may just do this last piece and then end the class because it don't make sense. I give you an overdrive. I'm going to multiply through by negative 1. When I multiply through by negative 1, I'm going to get positive 3y squared minus 88y positive 484 equals 0. And I'm going to end it right there for you to do the factorization for me for homework. Truth of the matter is, we don't have to wait until next class, God's willing, to do the stuff. When you do this thing, just drop it in the group. Drop it in a WhatsApp group. Don't drop it in the other one. Drop it in a WhatsApp group so we can all benefit from the factorization. And I will check the factorization and tell you you're right or you're wrong. We can complete this question before next class so that I can assign another one for you to do some practice. It's a lot of work, um, but it's nothing that is impossible for you to do. It's a lot of work, and I know you can do it. Let me hear how you feel, because we're too silent for me.
There you
Mash
are.
up, sir, mash up.
Oh Lord. And I bet you lot to that by
Jesus, I
next
think.
class, you're gonna say, sir, you know, so me see it, me just tired. And you too, you know, Pigeon, you're gonna see it.
Sir, me I tell you, say right now, me a fret. The exam come like it right round the corner. Big boy sit there just a surprise my brain. I fret me, I worry. Not to mention it.
You know, the good thing is that I know some teachers don't do it, but it has always been a practice of mine to work past papers in class. So I incorporate past papers in my lesson. You know why? I need to teach you how to answer questions. I can't just teach and then say, go write one exam and not show you how to do this stuff. That don't make no sense. So I'm giving this to you. No, chances are. All right. It's a long question. The mere fact that you say 30 marks, fling down on something is not, you think I got the 2 lines to get 30 marks? I don't see it go. Never go sweat. So far you may say to me, sir, how many marks are gone? Truth be told, you've gone about, I've gotten a 5 up there. Maybe you've gone about 12 marks out of the question already. When you factorize the stuff, you've gone about 15 marks out of the 30 marks. So expect to put in some serious work in order to get your marks. A 30 marker is a lot of marks to get on the question. And if you make errors up top, dog nyam is supper because you can reach this part to factorize and you can't factorize. If you make mistake up top and you reach this point down here to factorize, you're not going to be able to factorize it. And you can get
Sir, but
frustrated.
what, so me ask you, what if we factorize it? Meaning we probably try one method and we get one answer, sir. We don't get one mark.
And if you understand how I mark for with consequential error. So if you make a mistake up top, I penalize up top. But if the mistake is if the incorrect answer up top is correctly used in other parts of the question, you'll get the marks accordingly. So you can get a question wrong and still pick up 5 out of 10 marks for it, but you answer wrong and you still pick up 5 marks. Follow me?
Just we all work together, sir, because when I hear courage, so me afraid kinda. So I mean hear a lot of still so little hope did it.
Courage, are you okay? Are you understanding?
Yes, I am. I understand the factorized, the simultaneous parts.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Courage, I do that something, man. I'm not hear me friction up. Me hear a lot of local hope left in my body, but yeah, you know, courage.
Roswell, are you so silent? You all right, Papa? All right, him start sleep. Frano, are you stay?
Good for my side, sir. I understand all of it.
Nice,
Um,
nice. Lotto,
just
me now go ask you again because you stated claim already. Jojo, you good?
We're trying to do the factorize.
Okay, I mean you're all right. Rajay, how you stay? Oh, you did say you do like Bijan already. Um, and every time I'm about to call Mr. Kamoy, him come off. Why is it that conveniently him internet fail every time I'm about to call him? Never mind. It's all right. He must come back on. Me I lay wait him. The next class, him are the first one me I call upon. Every time I was a while ago I call him and him log off. And I'm going down the list and him say, blow on my turn next and him gone. Me used to go to school, so I know the things them. Anyhow. Um I want him to listen to the recording to let me know so I know him. I know what I go on. All right, guys. It was a rough class. The question is not yet finished, but I will not even ask you for 5 more minutes. I'm going to send it to your bed. And um, some of you, I understand, I saw the list for the awardees, and I'm really looking forward to celebrating with you tomorrow. Congratulations for the hard work done in completing your associates. And congratulations. I really hope that you can make it to the awards. This is your day. And I want you to be able to come on, me know your secret here, your secret burst. Every time I go call upon you, your internet gone. So you come off of the class. Keep it up. So for those of you who will be awarded tomorrow,
no,
whatever,
sir.
whatever, come on, your secret burst already, Papa. We know the trick. Um, I'm upset with you, straight up. For those of you who will be awarded tomorrow for whatever category, congratulations on a job well done. For those of you who missed it, you have an opportunity to make good for this academic year so that come next year you can pick up what you should be picking up. All right? Just continue working very hard and don't be despondent from tonight's class. You'll be fine. I promise you, you'll be perfectly fine. Just make sure that you commit yourselves to working um, the question. What I'm going to do I'm going to send this off to you. I'm going to send it all. Let me stop share. I'm going to send off. Stop share. I'm going to send off the I'm going to send off the notes to you. What it is that we've done so far. giving you an opportunity to continue working, and hopefully you'll be able to see what is happening. Big up on yourself. We'll talk next week, God's willing.
All right, sir.
You see.
All right, sir.